nothing really much else we can do other than sit around and wait for, things like MrBeast to get canceled, Now, of course, Jimmy, Jimothy, of course, Jimothy being the smart man that he is, he knew this was coming. As soon as he released the video, he released a tweet alongside it saying, hey, heads up, I'm probably getting canceled for this one. And of course, 72 hours later, hundreds of millions of views later on the video, and about is it 1,000 or 100? I think he built 100 wells. MrBeast, what is it? Was it 100? Yeah, he built 100 wells in Africa. My man Jimmy built 100 wells in Africa for, sure. Like, what are we talking about? Like, the fact, and like, he says it in the video. He says in the video, it's a shame a YouTuber has to fly all the way to Africa, go to this other place in Africa. He went to like 2 different countries in Africa, and he built over 100 wells. He gave them school supplies. He gave them clothes. He gave them more than just fresh drinking water, so, and then we've got the tweet, hey, I know I'm getting canceled. And of course, that's exactly what happened. He's being blamed because it's a white man saving the day in an African country. Okay. I don't think his race has anything to do with it, but of course we go there in 2023. Like I said, racism alive and well. And so, you know what I mean? He's getting blamed for being white. I don't know why that's part of the argument, but it is. It's part of the narrative. It's weird. I don't know. It's strange, but like, I guess that's fine. So, but hey, listen, if the organ and the people from the organization, it's their job in Africa to build wells and provide clean drinking water for the people of Africa, it's their job, and they can't do it. And so now they're a little pissy because MrBeast is doing it. And so they're like, hey, we don't have enough money for this. We don't have enough funding. We don't have enough eyeballs on it. We don't have enough grants. So hopefully this helps them, but they're also pissed because it's like, well, there goes our job for the next, like, they literally had 100 wells lined up for the next probably 10, 15 years. And he came in and did it in about 3 to 4 days, maybe 3 to 4 weeks. But you know what I mean? It's kind of insane that, he says it. We have to rely on a YouTuber for these things to happen. But every time MrBeast tries to do good on the Beast Philanthropy channel, we get the backlash. He pays for 1,000 blind kids surgeries. He pays for 100 people to walk again. Like he's literally has a whole channel, I think he has a whole food bank. He has a whole channel dedicated to donating money. All of the money he makes off that channel, he gives to shit. Like it's insane the amount of money that Jimmy and the whole team over there spends on doing these things. And then they're just met with nothing but outrage and negative backlash on, from the organizations, online, social media, and people who just, I guess, don't agree with doing good for others. And so, but, shout out to him, man. Shout out to MrBeast. He called it. It's crazy that like organizations are literally, CNN's reporting on it. It's just American YouTuber MrBeast's latest video in which he says he built 100 wells across Africa has drawn complex response online since it was published on Saturday. Some Kenyan activists and journalists said he has spotlighted the failures of the Kenyan government, while MrBeast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, anticipates that he will be canceled following the reaction. The new wells will provide clean drinking water for up to 500,000 people. 500,000 people can now drink water on a daily basis. And this man is getting scolded, dragged through the mud. If it was up to them, he'd be hung in the streets. Isn't that fun? 500,000 people in Cameroon, Kenya, Somalia, Uganda, and Zimbabwe, Donaldson said, while an accompanying fundraiser to support local water and organizations, he's raised more than $300,000 by Monday morning. That's right. So not only did he go and do this already, he also teamed up with, the Team Trees, the ocean organization. So now we've got a water version of that. And we've also raised $300,000, which will probably build us, you know, like probably 300 more wells or whatever it costs. I'm sure it doesn't cost much. Donaldson's 10-minute video also showed him donating supplies to Kenyan schools, such as new furniture, soccer balls, computers, whiteboards, projectors, building a bridge across the river to safely connect the village with local schools and hospitals, and donating bikes to a village in Zimbabwe to help children get to school. Prominent activist I can't even, what does that say? Hold on. I want to get his name right. Prominent activist Boniface Mwangi constated Donaldson's actions with those of the Kenyan government, saying, "We are a shameful, horrible country, a begging nation governed by millionaires." He added on X, formerly known as Twitter, "Every 5 years, we have newly elected members of parliament and senators, a SH 5 million car grant." Oh, okay. Sorry. That's their currency. $33,000 fuel those cars every month. And we have, no money to drill, boreholes for our people. Right. So, okay. Gotcha. So the government's spending money on cars and not building wells for their people. I see. Similarly, freelance journalist Ferdinand Mamdi launched Donaldson's efforts, but said that it's embarrassing that a YouTuber jetted into Kenya on a charity tour to perform tasks our taxes should have completed ages ago. CNN reached out to Kenyan government spokesperson for comment, but had not received a response at the time of the publication. So, I mean, it's crazy. Overnight, this person comes along who happens to be a white male figure with a huge platform, and all of a sudden he gets all of the attention. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating, but it's also understanding the nature of how the world is. She praised Donaldson for shining a spotlight on the need for clean water supplies, but warned that the issue is sustainability. It's one thing to go in and install the well. It's another thing for us to go back to 3 or 4 or 5 years from now and see if the wells are still functional. So, smidge of downfall. I mean, it's not downfall, but like, hey, like let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. I mean, if you really, I don't know. I don't know whose side to be on. But all I know is there's now 100 new wells in multiple countries within Africa for people to have clean water. So, and schools with bridges and supplies and technology, and that's what really matters, right? Can we just make that the prominent point of the article, please? Like, do we have to? I think I stated it earlier, but like, the pandas have been officially shipped back. FedEx put them on a specially created cage with a specially plane. And I think the plane had like 100,000 pounds of bamboo on it because the plane ride took so long. And they didn't want to stress out the pandas, so they just loaded them up on bamboo, which is crazy. Crazy awesome. And so I'm pretty sure bamboo for pandas is like the eucalyptus leaf for koalas. Like if they don't get it, they get a little cranky. Little cranky when daddy doesn't get his eucalyptus leaf. You know what I'm saying?